Welcome to Business Talks with your host, Kent Adams. Join Kent now as he sits down with business and community leaders to discuss a wide range of important topics in business. Business Talks is brought to you in part by STCU. Now, here's Kent.
Welcome to Business Talks. Kent Adams here. I'm pleased to have join me today is Heather Statford. I'm going to get this right, with Stronger Tech, right? Stronger International.
So the name of the company is Stronger International,
Okay.
Inc. We are incorporated, and our URL is stronger.tech, T-E-C-H. That helps people identify us to the technology industry.
Right. And there are so many of those three-letter endings like
Yes.
com and everything that's
right.
really identifying now. You kind of know what the company is.
That's correct.
Which I think is, instead of everyone being a .com, it really does make sense today. So let me guess then, you're in the tech business.
Oh, we are in the tech business. That's right.
I knew that, of course.
That's
And you're in cybersecurity and all of that. But let's first talk about the company and how you started it and how you got to where you are now, because I think that's an interesting story. I love it when people create new businesses. That's important.
It is. And, I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur,
Right.
especially to the level that I am right now.
Right.
I grew up with parents that were lifers at a large company.
Yeah.
And my mom, worked and then stayed home.
Right.
And so I didn't grow up.
Because you went somewhere and retired there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't grow up with this vision of, hey, you can go start something. And yet, as I was in business and I worked for corporate America,
Right.
I discovered, I can make these decisions, and I think I can run this.
Wow.
I started my first company, and it was Moxie Marketing. We were a technology integrator for the marketing industry.
Okay.
I started it in Boston.
Okay.
And ran the company for 6 years. We had customers from coast to coast.
Wow.
And then I sold that company.
Good.
Took a couple of years off and decided to get back in.
Because once it's in your blood, it's in there, isn't it?
Well, you really don't. Yes, once you're making those decisions and you've gone through it at least once successfully.
Yes.
You look at it and say, I don't think I really want to go work for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I looked around Spokane. I was in Spokane at the time, and it was kind of the downturn, and I didn't have a lot of local contacts, and I interviewed a little bit and just said, there really isn't what I need here. And so I said, well, I'll go find it and I'll bring it here.
Wow.
And most people probably wouldn't have come to that conclusion.
Right.
But that's the conclusion I came to. I can either start it from scratch like I did before, or I can bring in some resources and then start it. So I found some resources in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And brought those resources together and formulated a company. Those resources came in from 2006 and beyond. Stronger International started officially in 2015.
Wow.
So we are coming up on 5 years
Right.
that brand identity.
Okay.
And we took in, it was a core training company that did a lot of IT and security training.
Mm-hmm.
And we evolved that. So our core is still in high-end cloud security, cybersecurity training, core development for higher education and government, but we are a full-fledged cybersecurity firm all the way from penetration testing to end-user training.
Wow. And one of the things that we talked about in another program is that you're kind of an exception in that there are not very many women in the tech industry like that, in the cybersecurity industry.
We are
far
and few between.
Do you have fun with that at times?
I don't. There was a time where I wanted to correct people because people will assume that I'm not executive. They'll hand me a business card at a show and say, pass this to your executive
Oh,
team.
really?
And I'm like, it's 2019 or
Yeah,
2020.
wake up.
Like that shouldn't be a preconceived notion.
Right.
And yet it still is.
Yeah.
And yet
Well, even having business cards today, I'm told by some, is old-fashioned. Okay?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
So But what we want to do is just make it more acceptable for women to be in tech,
Yes.
to be in leadership in tech.
Right.
Part of that is mentoring
Yes.
and getting more people into the programs, that they have more support through the programs,
Right.
that we don't segregate quite as much on that. There are other factors to it,
Yeah.
but I want to be out there just saying, hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And you can't assume that you know people's backgrounds.
Yes.
Now, I am more on the entrepreneurial side.
Right.
And I love the fact that technology moves quickly.
Yes.
That there is a lot of problems to be solved in the technology world. And as we evolve into artificial intelligence and blockchain technology, I think women need to step up and be part of the conversation so that we have a more complete
There's
solution.
opportunity there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about a 12 or 13 or 14%, there's a lot of opportunity there in terms of women looking to really kind of go a direction that maybe she doesn't have so much of a challenge and can really make a name for herself with the expertise and all that.
Yes. Some businesses need to be a little more open-minded
Yeah,
in terms of
yeah.
being flexible.
Yes.
Cybersecurity tends to be work long hours, be very has a lot of stress to go with it, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of burnout in cybersecurity for obvious reasons, but there are burnout in other industries as well.
Absolutely.
Doctors and firefighters
Absolutely.
and all these other areas have
Yeah.
high stress positions
Right.
as well.
So what do you do? I'm curious, what do you do to mentor other women to get into the business?
Well, one of the things is just being a face.
Okay.
So I go to universities. I go, I'm speaking at Gonzaga this week, next week, to the Women Coding Group.
Okay.
And to let them know that there are people there that can help with that mentoring side.
Okay.
I am connected through LinkedIn and through social
Right.
media to lots of women who are trying to move in this direction, to either build businesses or to be strong in technology. And so having that community is helpful, but also helping programs. I work with Big 10 universities to help
Okay.
structure programs
Yeah.
to give more. For example, Eastern Washington University has a 100 women strong program that's recently been
Really?
started to match women in tech with the program that they are designing. They would love to be known in the West Coast as the place that has equal distribution and
Right.
will attract those women
Yes.
to come in.
Yes. Wow, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you helping them with anything?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I kind of figured that.
So-
Kind of knew the answer beforehand. Let's do this. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, I want to ask you, my leading question will be, what advice do you have for younger women and those going through higher education and so forth to get into this area? And what can they look at? What can they start thinking about? What questions should they be asking and so forth when we take a break? We'll be right back.
I'm Nikki Butler, and I'm a regional manager for STCU. My lunch buddy is Nicole.
I'm Brandy Schloss. I'm a regional manager at STCU. My lunch buddy is Angelina. She's grown up with me. I've grown up with her. To see her graduate will be a lot of fun.
Brandy and I have been lunch buddies since the girls were in second grade. It's great that STCU provides me with the opportunity to be part of Reach for the Future. We are committed to the children. We're committed to our community. I'm Nikki,
I'm Brandy.
and STCU is here for good.
Well, welcome back. Heather Statford, one of the questions that I kind of led us into commercial was, what advice would you have for other women and younger women as they start to think about their careers in the future, whether they're in high school now or in college or whatever it may be, to get them in the right...
Well, one of the things I would say is technology is here to stay.
Yeah,
It
I've
is-
kind of noticed that.
It is not going away.
No.
And it's going to become more and more a part of our lives.
Yes.
And so no matter who you are, no matter what generation you are,
Yes.
no matter, you need to understand technology.
Yes.
And so for women specifically, I would say take technology courses, dabble in it. take a basic coding class, take a basic class in college, even if you're an English major,
Yes.
even if you take basic technology, you will need it and it will help you move further along. Now, things have changed, right? When I was growing up, and I grew up mostly in the 80s, women weren't in tech. I remember my parents said, you can go to 2 summer camps, because I was the youngest kid.
Yeah.
I was home alone, and they said, you can go to 2 summer camps. I picked volleyball, because I was into athletics.
Okay.
And I picked a coding camp at a university in the 80s.
Wow.
And there were 100 kids that came.
99 boys.
There were 98 boys and 2 women.
Okay.
And I was one of them. And the other girl, of course, was blonde and beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I end up here? And it was an okay experience.
Yes.
But
you felt all alone in a way.
I was discouraged from taking all those classes. When I went to college, I never took one technology class.
Really?
More than software, more than graphics, more than, but not hardcore networking or back-end technology.
Yeah.
Because I was discouraged from taking them. So the world really has changed.
Yes.
It's not going away. And what I would just say to all women who are coming up, dabble. Take a class here or there. Just find out the basics, because your life will have technology in it, and you need to know it.
It's kind of like when I was growing up and first starting jobs, there was the discussion of you will have several careers, not just jobs, but several careers. We kind of all went, like, I know what I want to be, and I want to be that forever, right? And then things keep coming at you, and things do. And I've had a couple different careers and so forth. I think it's the same way with technology. You better get on the train and start working your way forward, because it's going somewhere.
Well, and if you think about it, many women like technology because it solves problems.
Yes.
They like the apps, they like the graphics programs, they
Yes.
like different parts of technology, but they don't necessarily understand how the back-end hardware works.
Yeah.
Men tend to like, now this is categorizing, but tend to like to know how it works, to understand the functionality, how it's connected together. But it doesn't mean you can't cross over, and the more you understand about something, the better you're able to use it and to be able to explain it to other people. I have moms often come to me and say, help me with my cybersecurity of my kids' gadgets.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Well, if those moms knew more about technology, they'd help other people. So it's really an educational shift, and I would just say embrace it,
Yes.
learn about it, don't steer away from it,
Right.
and just smile and say, I'm learning, and this is part of who I'm going to be. I'm going to know this.
Are you a better learner now than you were back in high school and college?
I think I'm different. We're
Okay.
all different.
Yeah.
Right now we have electronic classes.
Yeah.
Watch this, respond. You don't have to come to class.
Right.
I still grew up in the age where you better be in class on time.
Yep.
And you still had a book. They gave you a book to read. Things have.
I've heard about those.
Have changed.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got to move in that direction.
Yeah. So what's happening with your company here in Spokane now? What's next for you? Because you've been serving all over the country.
We have been.
Based here in Spokane, and you have an office back east.
We do. We have an office in Connecticut.
Okay.
So we have clients on the East Coast,
Right.
Metro New York, Eastern Seaboard,
Right.
as well as a lot in California.
Okay.
What's next for us is really helping solve the problem of cybersecurity instead of applying Band-Aids.
Okay.
So what I say to people is
Preventing
now,
is what you're really talking about.
Right now we're really trying to catch up. We're trying to
Yeah.
Band-Aid things. We're trying to help companies get up to speed.
Right.
But what I'd like to do is, and we are working on some technology and some back-end things to help really solve the problem of cybersecurity, because it's in the news.
Yeah.
And it's not going away. It is part of our new world. And so Stronger is trying to take an active role in developing the next generation of solutions for this epidemic.
And the banking industry has kind of figured out some of that. They're pretty much on top of the cybersecurity, right?
Every industry is under attack, and every
Okay.
industry is doing the best they can
Okay.
to help safeguard
Yeah.
both their information and funds or other things.
Right.
Whether it's oil and gas in our electrical grid,
Yes.
or whether it is our financial institutions, credit unions, or full-on banks,
Everything is on the internet.
everything is there.
Yeah.
Every company that you interact with probably has records of you
Yes.
and probably has your information, and it's very interconnected.
What can we do personally to prevent that as individuals?
So there are a couple really basic things you can do.
Okay.
And the first one is make sure that the passwords that you use in your personal accounts,
Yes.
with the garden club or
Yep.
sign up for things, is not the same password you use in your business.
Okay.
You really should have an individual password for everything.
Yeah.
And most people roll their eyes.
I
And
know.
I said, okay, well, at least have a couple. At least have, and use a password manager, because you can't keep 100 or 200 passwords
I
in
went
your
to
head.
go on my computer last night, and it said to verify who you were, and I put in what I thought was the right answer, and it wasn't. I think on my third try, I got it right.
So
You
the
know.
second thing is to enable two-factor authentication. What does that mean? That means that whoever you're logging into wants to find two pieces of information on you to make sure it's you
Yes.
and not someone else.
Because you might know one.
That's right.
Right.
So a bank might verify and send you a code to your
Yes.
to your phone. When you have the ability to set that up, do it.
Okay.
The
Okay.
reason it's there is not to make your life difficult.
I thought that's what it was.
It is because
Because it does sometimes.
it
but,
does.
Yes.
But people are out there and they're not honest people.
Yes.
And they're trying to get your money and your information.
Yeah.
And you need to set it up. So those are two very simple things that you can do
Right.
that will help you be safer.
And that's probably the same for business side of things too, right? Have different passwords and a manager. Would you say a password manager?
Password manager.
Okay.
So businesses, depending on their size,
Yes.
they often have a hard time with what happens if an employee leaves.
Uh-huh.
Can you know what they have access to and what passwords they have, and can you reset those?
Right.
Having that in place is really
Really?
critical to your safety. Businesses are attacked both from external, people trying to get in
Mm-hmm.
the door. They're also attacked from inside when they don't have protocols and things set up properly.
Right. So they hire someone like you to help come in and provide them direction
Right.
before they get to the issue.
Exactly.
Because
so
pay me now a little bit, or
preventative will save you so much money in the end.
Yeah.
When you have a breach,
Well, not to mention the grief that you go through.
oh, it's grief. It is bad publicity.
Yes.
Your brand is affected.
Yes.
Your customers tend to think that you're not competent in that
Yep.
area. So what other areas are you not
Especially if
competent
it's a
in?
place you have left your debit or credit card at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we can all think of a lot of those that have happened. I think recently of KHQ that got ransomware.
Yes, they did.
And it was a tough situation. I mean, they were able to work around some of it, but you could watch a few news evenings and know when they said they were going to go to a certain camera out there somewhere in the field, and it didn't work because they manually couldn't get it to work right.
So let
know?
me just give a very brief explanation of what ransomware is.
Yes.
It's not that they have erased your computer.
Right.
All they've done is they've locked it.
Yes.
They basically put a very strong password.
That only they know. Yes.
256-bit encryption, but a very, very strong password that will not be cracked. You can't just type it in.
Yeah.
And so the information's still there. You just can't access it.
Yes.
So they didn't have to steal it. It's all there.
Right.
But the problem is, if you can't get to it,
It's useless.
does it shut down your business? Does it have information if you are a hospital or
Yes.
a medical provider? Does it have personal information that you have to keep safe for HIPAA?
Yeah.
So all of these things, there are very simple strategies
Yes.
that you can put into place that will reduce 80 to 90% of
Really?
your risk, and you won't have to worry about the KHQ
Yeah.
because you'll be prepared.
Yeah, that really makes a difference.
So any business that is thinking about, hey, what do I do?
Yes.
That's one of the things that we help train, consult, and get you literally stronger
Yes.
in this area, because you have to be.
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse out there.
That's right.
Yeah,
So
What they haven't thought of
2019
today, they will tomorrow.
So 2018 was a record year.
Okay.
2019 eclipsed it and was a record year. And the expectations for 2020 are off the charts.
Wow.
So if you aren't talking about it, thinking about it, and getting information,
You could be affected.
you need to be right now.
Yeah. Wow. How can people get in touch with you?
So our URL is stronger.tech, T-E-C-H.
Right.
And we have a local phone number, 509-290-6598. And reach out to me personally. I give people my personal email so that I can, or you can go to info@stronger.tech, and we'll return that and find out what you need,
Yeah.
and see if we can help or find other people that can help
Right,
you.
because you're well connected with others who do special things.
Yes,
the specialties and so forth. That really makes a difference. And what I like is that you're coming now with some national exposure and experience. And sometimes we think in Spokane, Washington, that nothing's going to happen to us because we're this nice little town that help everybody. But that doesn't mean a thing to the person that's sitting in Philadelphia that wants to get into our computer.
That's true.
You know?
And to be clear, a lot of the people that are trying to get into these businesses probably are not located in the United States.
Yeah, I forget about that.
Now,
but yeah.
some of them are,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But a lot of them are located in places that we can't go after them, that they can
Yes.
they can commit cyber crimes and continue to do so, and they're just open for business.
Wow.
And so it's not going to stop anytime soon.
Right.
And if you don't understand it, you need to get a better grasp
Right.
of it.
Thank you very much, Heather. Great information.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
Not a problem at all. Good to have you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for watching Business Talk. See you next time.
Thanks for watching. Business Talks is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksMedia.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Business Talks is brought to you in part by STCU. Hear this program again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or SpokaneTalksMedia.com.